Hello everybody. Today we're finishing a playthrough campaign video of Dilithium Wars, and I think this is a really fun space conflict area controller set in the Star Trek universe. So this game is an adaptation or reimagination of Axis and Allies, built on the AAA video game platform. This is episode 4, the finale of a playthrough video series that's meant to showcase some strategies and to demonstrate real-time play, so you can see for yourself some of the various features Dilithium Wars has to offer. In single-player mode, in this game, if you choose to control just a single faction like I am here, as the Federation, you have a challenging and fun two-front war to manage. So I'll just give you a quick recap if you haven't seen videos 1, 2, and 3. The Cardassians are orange below the blue Federation on the map. I made almost no significant progress against them during the course of the game. I was able to check their advance towards my planets. However, I spent a fraction of my resources there just trying to counterpunch and hold the line on that front. It worked well enough, I suppose. I let the Klingons do most of the fighting down there, not on purpose. That's the way it turned out. Likewise, I made little headway pushing towards the middle of the board. I never landed on radon once, and that's the ultimate goal of the game. Really, the Dilithium treasure planet located at the very center of the galaxy. I never threatened the Romulans either, the yellow guys on the opposite side of the map. That would have required wormhole travel, which I don't like that much because I find that ships can get isolated and ambushed more easily by the enemy. Obviously, if they operate far away from support or other allies, your ships often get cut off and whittled away. So that was a thing in this game. I also really struggled climbing the ranks. I only got to the rank of Rear Admiral, and I wasted tons of dilithium applying to Starfleet for more buying power. It never worked. I could have used it to squash into command currency to pay for more ships, and I would have been a more formidable opponent against the AI had I done this. And despite all this, the game has still gone well for the Khitomer Alliance, which the Federation are part of. So my Vulcan allies defeated the Borg and left them with no planets or power base in the galaxy. So they were reduced to a few cubes here and there, just aimlessly roaming the galaxy. And they haven't been able to influence the course of the game for a long time. I was able to focus on the Dominion, however, the Jem'Hadar. The pink guys, they wilted, and their front collapsed under the pressure of fighting both myself and the Vulcans. So for the finale here, I'm poised to deliver the knockout blow by taking their last deployment zone in the galaxy, which is their original star base located at the top right corner of the star map. At this point, the Dominion are basically dedicated to an all-out defensive strategy that sees them reinforcing their star base every turn with more and more personnel. I think simply to discourage an invasion. They don't seem willing or capable of rebuilding any type of space fleet. So you can see they've got 30 plus 30 guys, and I have to close that gap just by building men myself. I also have to be able to transport the men safely, so I have to buy transports. I am going to squash my dilithium into command, so I will have significantly more buying power than the Dominion, and I will be able to close that gap fairly quickly, I argue. So if you are playing in an opponent, like a human opponent, and they start doing this, I hope to demonstrate a strategy that you could do to defeat the crush of men people will ultimately fall back on if they're unable to hold planets.
Reinforcements have arrived.
You see the Romulans are still fairly active. They still have a lot of ships. And they can stand toe-to-toe with the Klingons still. Klingons still have radon. Ooh, they're gonna have a huge battle there with the Cardassians. Maybe the biggest battle we've seen yet in this game. We won it. That's significant because the Cardassians are now reduced to a single planet as well. They're in the same boat as the Dominion here.
Warriors transferred.
Although they still retain a gigantic armada of ships, and the Dominion do not have that anymore. Cardassians still able to take planets. Yeah, you can see I have a lot of help from the Klingons. I'm just basically blocking the Cardassians now from coming up the map. I'm going to be focused entirely on just knocking out the Dominion as quickly as possible so we can end this playthrough once and for all. I also was just waiting for the Klingons here to... What am I going to do? Well, I'm just going to... Yeah, play the defensive blocking game with the Cardassians and set up an invasion deployment here against the Dominion. I've got to move these ships closer to the front. I'm going to use pretty much everything that can fly to carry men. I still need a lot of transports, but everything that can take personnel will be pressed into service here. 38 guys they have. I'm at maybe 25. So I'll be able to maybe close that gap in a couple turns using Dilithium as command directly. I think the Dominion can still, with their higher rank, produce about 5 men each turn. But you'll see here, I can do... Yeah, 16. So I can make triple the amount of guys if I squash all my Dilithium. So they will go down. Heavy cruiser there.
Affirmative.
Unfortunately, this sort of becomes tedious part of the game. It's always like that with Axis and Allies or any sort of equivalent strategy area controller. Like, if you choose to play them to completion, there is usually, boring parts to the game as it winds down, and maybe it becomes more and more obvious which side is going to come out on top. So I thought I'd squeeze in a brief discussion of Star Trek Voyager, actually, in this episode, since I talked about the original series, Next Gen, and DS9 in episodes 1, 2, and 3 of this series. I watched Voyager years after it had come out, just the same way I had done with DS9. So it was only with the benefit of online streaming did I see everything in order. And this is back when I was still a poor student. Either that or I was living poor, working, paying off debts. So I couldn't really follow anything or any shows between midnight shifts, because I that's when I started working midnights to pay off my student loans and stuff. And
Reinforcements are coming.
anyway, the bits and parts of the series that I saw, I liked, and I was interested in it for sure. But overall, it quickly kind of became apparent to me that I felt the show was, like, overall, maybe, like I said before, just one notch below the 3 shows that came before it in quality. And I know what you're all thinking right now. I can just hear it. You think that because it had a female captain, it's just impossible for me to like it as much as the other series. And honestly, that's not the case. In fact, my favorite part of the show was Kate Mulgrew. I also like Jerry Ryan, of course. Who didn't? The ladies, strong women, sign me up. In science fiction, I like strong women in science fiction. So it's the writing, honestly, that I felt really dropped off in Voyager. And what I mean by that is that the show, I don't think, delivered on its original promise to show the audience exciting new races and worlds in a previously unexplored sector of the galaxy. And that was the promise, if you remember. Instead, we got the Herodian, Vidians. Okay. They were okay, but just okay, and nothing special, I would say. Neither of them had particularly compelling, like, evil bosses or villains that you can remember. I think the best thing, the coolest thing that Voyager had going on for a little while was the Species 8472 idea. It was pretty cool, except they were 100% CGI, and they weren't humanoids or anything, and they couldn't talk, or so. I mean, how do you get to know them and stuff? It's hard to get into. The ship action as well, I think, for the first time became exclusively CGI, so that was a difference that old school people would notice. Harder to get into as well, I think. Models are better. For me, it's kind of like watching a video game movie when they don't use models. What else was there? I remember there's like a important loose thread too that bothered me, and it was this whole thing about the ship having neural biomechanics aspect to it, so it would have its own sort of, I don't know, hinted towards consciousness or something like that. But that became, like I said, a loose thread that went absolutely nowhere. So anyway, overall, I think it was okay. And I just have to say, thank goodness for Kate Mulgrew, because I feel the show would have absolutely bombed without her. And if you don't believe me, you can YouTube the first actress they cast to play Janeway. And I'm not saying that this actress, Genevieve Buchholz or something like that, is a, didn't have the talent or whatever. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that she obviously didn't get it. A starship captain with, like, this weird flat affect, no dynamism at all, and wow, like, it just did not work. And they brought in Kate to save the show, and they also had to bring in Jerry to keep it going as the ratings started to sag in later seasons, from what I understand. So it was a couple of women that really saved the series. It's also hard to pick out standout episodes because of the writing, I think. Yeah, they were. I mean, the shows were interesting, but just you never got like those unforgettable, timeless classics. I think there's this one where the Doctor hologram character, he was learning dating advice from the Tom Paris guy, and I thought that one was really funny. That's the one that I for some reason I remember the most. Besides the Species 8472 episodes, which were pretty cool. What other good parts? I like Tim Russ as Tuvok. I thought he was a really good actor. But unfortunately, Voyager just sort of fell short, especially with heavy characters. You know, when you have sucky bad guys and no quality original villains, it's just not that great. So that's why, to me, it's just simply one notch below the 3 shows that I discussed in the previous episodes. Just my opinion. Anyway, back to
reinforcements have arrived.
So this is gonna wrap up here soon, because I'm poised to go at the Dominion, and I'm gonna launch the attack at 1-to-1 odds too. I can't afford to risk that type of action since I outproduce them. So, wow. It looks like the Klingons just tried to end the Romulans. They almost did it. Holy crap. That was big. So you can see the game sort of destabilizing. That's surprising. But it's a good sign that my allies are willing to go all out to try and end this, just like me. Wow, I got a bit of a Cardassian incursion there that snuck up through my defensive perimeter. It's interesting that he didn't choose to actually attack Sothion. I'm gonna have to try and I have to attack that thing. I don't know where it's headed, but it's not gonna make it to wherever it is it plans on going. I have a lot of help from the Klingons now too, so I can kind of dismantle the defensive perimeter down there. 46, I got 15 on the planet south of the starbase. What do I got? Like maybe, well, I gotta get that advanced cruiser to a starbase because I don't want to lose it. They can go back to Naskadon. At 26, 15, so that's, yeah, one more turn. One more turn is all I need. I'll have them at 1-to-1. I'll have the ability to move those men and protect them. You can see I actually left the space open around the Dominion space station because I don't care if they try and build ships. If they blow their money on ships, I'll run them over. Actually hoping they do waste money on ships so I don't have as many men to kill once I transport down to the station. I think I'm a couple transports short of being able to land everybody. But yeah, I'll have them at 1-to-1 odds here. Next turn. The Dominion fleet still has stragglers, though. You notice they were able to, whatever's left, occupy a planet in Vulcan territory. Even have a lot of Vulcan ships hanging around too. So if I can knock that number down to maybe 1 or 2, hopefully the Vulcans will just mop up what's left. We'll see. And there's 1 Dominion ship there. They got about 2 left, I guess. 50. So I'm at 4, yeah. I'll do it anyways. And you can see the, Romulans getting attacked again by the Vulcans. They do it? I think they did it, I think the Vulcans won that huge battle and they had 1, they did, they took the Romulans' starbase with 1 guy. And now they're reinforcing on a non-combat move. Wow, that's a wrap for the Romulans. The Vulcans scooped me by taking an enemy starbase before I got to finish off the Dominion. And it doesn't look like the Romulans have enough stuff close by to get it back. So, and if that's their turn, then that means the Cardassians have to take Radon this turn, or I think the game is going to end. Yeah, the Romulans look like they're going to try and take the Klingon starbase. This is getting interesting. What are the Cardassians going to do then? They have a lot of ships, but I don't think they have anything near radon. It's all protecting their space station.
Warriors transferred.
That stuff's nowhere near the
Warriors transferred.
spot it needs to be. Let's see. That's it.
Reinforcements are coming.
Yeah, the game's gonna end here. I'm not sure if I get a turn or not. Borg, oh yeah, Borg go next. Oh, there we go. Finally! Do you want to continue? No, I think we've seen enough. Round, what, 32? Yeah, 32. Total victory, Khitomer Alliance. Dilithium Wars, AAA software. It's a great game, free game. If you're a Star Trek fan, love strategy, area controller, I highly recommend this. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more content coming soon.